The following podcast contains spoilers to Avengers Endgame. Do not listen to this podcast if you haven't seen the movie.
I know I said no more surprises, but I was really hoping to pull off one last one.
This is the Bunzerelly Show.
An epic movie deserves an epic show, so we got a packed house today. First of all, returning to the show, I want to welcome Khiim. We just came off Countdown to Endgame. We saw the movies.
Hey man, what a road it's been. I see we got the big guns with us today.
Yeah, we got everybody here. Joining us for the first time, we got two people. First of all, I want to welcome. We got Matt coming to the show.
Hello, it's good to be here.
And we have Clifton. Clifton, thanks for being here.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
All right, so Endgame. First of all, the first thought, kind of like the overscope thing, you know, a lot of times if you go like the Lord of the Rings is the best example where you kind of over milk something, or even like I don't want to say the Matrix trilogy, but both of the Lord of the Rings things is with like, especially The Hobbit and Harry Potter, where it's like, you know, you need to split a chapter into two movies, and it seems like a little bit like they're milking the cow. My first overall scope of this whole thing is, and I'll get everybody's thoughts on the movie too, but I think this definitely deserved two movies. I don't think they could have done this in one movie. I think setting up the gauntlet, the gems and everything, and then like the other end of that, the comeback, I think it deserved two movies. Khiim, what were your thoughts on the movie?
I agree completely because just Endgame alone as a movie, it was so much to be able to even think about trying to cram both of those into one. You know, that'd be too much. The way they executed everything came out really well.
Oh yeah, I thought it was good as well. I was really enjoying it. I thought it was very well done. Like, it strays enough from the comic books that you don't know how it's gonna go, but it still keeps you interested.
See, I never followed Infinity War Gauntlet. I read Infinity War, even though the movie's named after it. It's like the sequel. So I didn't know exactly how it's supposed to go down, which was good for me. See, I don't need to be like true to the comics. I'm okay with them taking like, you gotta have some surprise element to it.
Yeah.
Now, Cliff, you saw it twice. Right. I have a question for you. So one of the things people were saying was, well, me and Khiim were talking about yesterday and said, like, it gets a little slow going and everything, and then all of a sudden it picks up. But I can't see what they could have cut out. I didn't see any time wasting in it. When you're the only one of us that saw it twice. So watching it again, did you find like?
Well, I felt that there was a couple scenes that were definitely cut out of it. Again, this was a very long movie, filmed at the same time and split in half. There was one scene where Rocket was going after the ether.
Yes,
that scene in particular, I felt that was cut out, along with others. I just can't think of any right now.
Yeah,
I did notice one that was cut out. It was in the very beginning, actually, kind of just how Captain Marvel just kind of shows up, gets Tony Stark, saves him, and then kind of just like comes back. That whole sequence didn't flow well.
Yeah, they kind of
how it was edited.
They cut out her like
involvement.
Yeah, there was nothing with the Avengers. No, like even the scene like coming back with a pager.
Well, that's the thing. That was actually the after credit scene for Captain Marvel was her coming and meeting up with them with the pager.
Yeah, but even if you didn't want to show that exact scene, like a different conversation. Like, how about the conversation? I didn't even realize until hearing afterwards, like it was go get Tony.
Yeah.
Because when you watch it the first time, you think it's like she just stumbled across him on the way back. And I thought later they were going to show her saying, "Where's Fury?" Like that, you know what I mean? I thought she just was floating around and bumped into it, which makes more sense that they sent him out.
They usually do that. When they show an end credit scene at one of the movies, they will recap on that scene in the next movie that had something to do with it.
They don't just completely gloss over it.
So I thought it was awkward. I'm going to say I probably bet once they do release the movie, we'll have an alternate version with more Captain Marvel involved. I think they might have cut her out took her back a little bit.
I feel like that's something that would be featured in a future film as far as a next Captain Marvel movie. Yeah,
they could do that because I think she's supposed to be... Supposedly, we don't know where she was since her movie, like the 90s. So however that comes into play. So it starts out... we mentioned before the Hawkeye farm scene from Age of Ultron. So... that was actually like that was a decision from Joss Whedon because he was like, I want to give the movie a little time out from the action, a little breathing space. And he actually had to fight for that scene. And to get that scene, the deal was, the way Joss was talking about it was, for me to keep my farm scene, I had to do the Thor in the water scene. But it was just really meant to be just like, let's relax for a second, let's have them talk and everything. It was an afterthought. And we said, okay, it's going to show more weight, because we kind of knew from the trailers that Hawkeye's family died, just to look in his face and everything. But I didn't. You actually saw it go down.
Yeah, that was great. I don't think you could have opened that movie up any better than starting the way they did.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
that was like I saw. I'm like, oh, it's going. They showed the ankle bracelets from Civil War, and it was just. I think it was the best place to start it, because it was like it was the one you didn't get to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Captain America and Iron Man, first meeting since Civil War, so I think it was done very well, because we had said that in the long run, whatever you got going on with Cap and everything, there's bigger things going on. Yeah. The whole scope of the universe, you got to put some things aside. We said it was a good idea to get rid of Winter Soldier, because you can't have Winter Soldier high-fiving Iron Man, which we actually never saw. And you know what? If we saw that, I think it would have. There's no way still.
Yeah.
That even at the end, and we'll get to the end, but like I think if those two said any word to each other, it would not have worked.
Yeah. No.
I think it would have been
believable.
There's nothing. What could you have seen? Even like the Cap and the Iron Man thing. Like I said, when Iron Man comes back and he's like just pissed at Captain America, he's pissed over the whole thing.
Yeah.
But he left off bad with Captain America. He's like, "Where were you?" I didn't realize the shield around the world. He's referring to Ultron, and Cap goes,
"Yeah, yeah."
And Cap's being reserved, because he's like, it didn't work out. He's not throwing it in his face, because he understands. They all took a big loss, but he's like, it didn't work out.
Yeah,
So, you know what I mean?
We tried. It didn't work.
Yeah, he's holding back. He didn't want to throw Ultron right in his face.
Yeah.
Then, of course, Ant-Man comes back. We got the time travel stuff and everything.
Yeah,
So
he's stuck in the quantum realm the whole time.
That sets the tone for the plan. So now here's another thing they were complaining about. And I go to Twitter, kind of get like the overall, because you get other opinions, whether they're right or wrong. So the two characters that people are having like kind of a controversial opinion about is Thor and the Hulk. So let's start with Hulk. Cliff, what did you think of Hulk? Smart banner.
I think it was a good addition to the tone of of Endgame. I didn't really have any dislikes about it. Definitely versus Infinity War.
Yeah.
Where you just saw the action right at the beginning, and then Hulk's out of the picture.
I also don't think Crazy Smash Hulk, even though we all love him, I don't think he would have fit anywhere in this thing. He's too sloppy for the heist and the delicacy of the situation. Also,
they made the reference to that when they went back to get the gems. He goes, "Oh, it's time for some like senseless violence or whatever." He's like throwing the cars, like,
and we got to see our big crazy Hulk, so it kind of worked out. Also, what it did was it set up the whole gem thing, which we're gonna get to that later too, with the Hulk snap and the power. You can't have crazy Hulk. Crazy Hulk snaps his fingers and everybody disappears. Who knows what he's gonna do? You know?
Yeah.
So it was the only way. It was like the storytelling behind it. The way it paces and the whole plan, everything worked with everyone the way they were.
I think I might disagree with that.
Yeah,
I kind of don't like the fact how we were just dropped into Smart Hulk. You know, we didn't get any lead up. We don't know, like, you know, it's just 5 years later they come to find Hulk. Oh, what? You're smart now?
Yeah, I was gonna say that too. I wish that they had shown like at least like a little bit of that, like him realizing that he could do it. Kind of like it didn't have to be a long scene, just kind of like
just some kind of notion to it.
Yeah. It's hard to decide what should have went and what should have stayed, because the thing was 3 hours. It was so much ground to cover.
Yeah.
Thor. So a lot of people didn't like the Thor thing.
Really?
With the gut. I was fine with it.
I thought that was hilarious.
It was funny, and Thor's funny, and you have this serious character, and it's like, you know, but really, you know when it gets serious? Because first he's drinking and he's got the beer gut and everything, but when he mentions Thanos, he goes, "Don't say that name." He's driven into depression. Thor feels like he dropped the ball at the end.
Yeah, like he's the one that's hit the hardest by this whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. He had the chance to end it.
Right after losing Asgard, losing his whole family pretty much.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't see why people would have such a gripe towards that. I mean,
it was more or less like something that was said, and it was more like, you know, people were like, "Where's the that's not my Thor people at?" or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they thought they made Thor a joke. But even in the end, when it comes to the final battle, he stood up, he did his stuff. He was still Thor.
Yeah, but I mean, if you really look at it, that's the kind of route that they're taking to make Thor interesting. They gave us the first 2 movies with a serious tone. Nobody really took it seriously. Then you have Ragnarok, which comes out and has a complete comedic makeover, and everybody loves it. So of course they're going to start giving him more of those punchlines, those jokes. It's the character that, unfortunately, showed what people want.
I think the whole alcoholism thing also adds a bit of depth to the character.
Yeah.
Like some of them move on, but he's still got that kind of level of immaturity that he just
he's stuck.
Goes straight to alcohol. And he's drinking his problems away so he doesn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, everybody kind of found their little corner, and there's a couple good things about the 5-year leap, but Cap just kind of made his peace with things. Black Widow was just
trying to hold everything together.
Still have the presence of the Avengers because that's all she knows and all she loves.
Yeah.
And then, Thor has failure. I mean, Thor came off of his planet blowing up, and he's like, hey, let's go. Let's start New Asgard. And then everything went to...
I will say that it was kind of good to see Black Widow in charge of the Avengers, though.
And
she didn't make a bad leader at all.
And what it also did was kind of build up to her end, too.
Yeah.
Because it made more like what her motivations were there. And you know what? Black Widow deserves it because... if you think back to the start of the MCU, she has a role in Iron Man.
Yeah.
Kind of riding shotgun with Cap as soon as the Russos got in there.
Yeah. She's been there. Yeah. Since day one, pretty much. Yeah.
And it's just, it's nice that, I don't want to jump around, but I kind of want to jump around. Her sacrifice at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be Hawkeye. When Hawkeye starts running, I'm like, okay, that's it. But it was kind of better. And even the Russos had said they were going back and forth. They had a version where Hawkeye died.
Yeah.
But I think Hawkeye dying, you didn't have that little...
it doesn't carry the same weight.
You didn't have that glee moment of the phone ringing. And once again, we've got to know his family. So you see his wife's picture on the thing and you have that excitement. Going to that, when we go to... the Hulk snap, I thought about this. So the Hulk has the gauntlet, Hulk does a snap, but it sets up a couple different things. Because I think the fact, and I'm saying the way the movie was paced, because he snaps, Hawkeye sees his family back. And before you could even think of the other heroes, Thanos does his attack. And I think what that did was when the heroes actually showed up, it made it more of a surprise. Oh, I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot about those guys.
They come back, but it's just all that happens so fast you don't even get a chance to...
think of the distractions they throw in between.
Yeah.
First, they start with the big 3 of the franchise. Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America versus Thanos.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got those 3. Then, one of the big crazy scenes, Captain America with the hammer.
Awesome.
Oh, that was...
And if you go to YouTube and you watch, audience reactions, because I was staying away from the internet until this movie dropped. Once I saw the movie, it was game on.
Yeah,
Plus, I wanted to research and remember some scenes and not forget everything.
Yeah.
But when he picked up that hammer and you watch the hammer slowly, because people are still thinking is Thor doing something or is Vision back, and all of a sudden Captain America catches it. Perfect, choreographed move. It was awesome.
Yeah, that scene was definitely groundbreaking. Seeing Cap get that. I do think that though, I think the only thing that kind of took away from it is the fact we've seen Vision pick up the hammer before too. Just a
little bit, but he's half of an omnipotent being, so it's
yeah. It just would have been more weight if Cap was the only one we've seen other than Thor get that hammer.
Maybe if Vision had picked it up a couple more times, it would have got old. All right, everybody can't just be picking up this thing, taking turns and
flipping it around everywhere.
Yeah. No, but that was awesome seeing them, and then when he got the dual wield moment, that was great.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
And it made Cap. Cap's strong too, but he's not as built for Thanos as the other two.
Yeah.
So that kind of gave Cap first an awesome fight scene, and it's also the Russos who took Cap, made Cap cool, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I watched it again. I was how did everybody get in costume? I didn't remember. And then I watched it again. I watched the Hulk snap scene. And it was because they were all kind of suiting up for whatever was going to go down with the snap.
Yeah.
So that's why Iron Man's got his iron on. I don't know why Hawkeye was dressed up.
Hawkeye was always dressed up.
I just like to wear this.
It was the first time he put on his costume the whole time. He pulled it out of the closet.
His comfy clothes.
Yeah. He's all right, I can't dress like a murderer anymore.
So the hero
Speaking of Hawkeye, what did you guys think about him as Ronin?
Awesome. It was the natural progression of the character.
Yeah.
Because the character hasn't, as far as like developing and doing things, he hasn't
had his time to shine like most of the others.
And not that he needs a time to shine, but what we did get from Ultron was we know a lot about. Here's the things we know about Hawkeye. We know about his relationship with Black Widow.
Yeah,
that's a big part in the play because as you know what. Actually, as soon as they saw Red Skull, I was like, oh. Somebody's going.
Yeah.
And these two love each other. I thought one of them was going to have to throw the other one off. I was like, how do you make that happen?
Yeah.
Sorry. But there's that. And there's also the family. That came back into play. So that was kind of like the circle for Hawkeye's storyline. I don't know if Hawkeye's going forward. I don't know if Hulk's going forward. And we're going to get into that when we talk about the future of the MCU.
Yeah.
I want to get back to this. Some of the stuff during the heist before we get into the big final battle.
Okay.
So Loki grabs the time stone and just like whoop, zips out.
Yeah.
It just jets out. So hopefully,
what do you think's going on with that?
I don't know. Is it setting up for his TV show? Because we know that's happening with the Disney Plus. I have some concerns and reservations about the Disney Plus thing. Is he going to go on his like zippy around adventures and stuff and just never come back? Which is. It's okay, maybe, but just to take him out of everything else, take him out of Thor's world and everything for the sake of that TV show.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But in Thor's mind, he died. There's a lot to explain to people on TV. Oh, this is an alternate Loki, this and that. But I don't know. Whatever they got planned.
I mean, maybe not, because they're pretty much doing the same thing with Gamora right now. We have an alternate timeline Gamora loose.
Yeah, and I want to ask about that again. You saw it again.
Yes.
Because I asked this question. And I don't remember. When all the Guardians are on the ship again, is Gamora there?
No, Gamora is not there.
So we don't know if this out-of-time Gamora... But she didn't... Did she fade or... Did
No, she dipped.
When she punches Star-Lord...
Yeah, hit him twice. Make sure she hit.
But was that after the snap? After Iron Man snap?
That was before that snap.
So that's
She should still.
Well, the one thing on that, when I watched it the second time, what I did notice was when Iron Man did his snap, it wasn't just the enemies that phased out, but also the structure of the ship phased out as well.
Oh,
so I'm still debating it with myself as far as what they plan on doing with the future. But as of right now, I'm sticking with Gamora's out of the picture.
Okay.
But you also have to think about the actor's future as well. James Cameron has 4 more Avatars coming out.
I think that's what the next Guardians will probably be based on.
Yeah,
is them looking for Gamora.
Well, you know what? We're in the, let's do the Guardians of the Galaxy because I want to get to Iron Man, of course. That's the big finale.
Yeah.
But so I had this theory I ran by you guys because of Guardians of the Galaxy. So James Gunn gets fired over some stuff on the internet. Then all the actors, especially Drax,
Dave Bautista.
All right, Dave Bautista. So Dave Bautista is the most vocal. Dave Bautista's on Twitter saying, and I was waiting for Dave Bautista to get fired or replaced because Dave Bautista's like, I'm not, this is BS. He goes, I'm not doing a third movie unless they use James Gunn's script.
Yeah.
This and that. And everybody's kind of in turmoil and stuff. And I'm wondering if Disney's like scratching their heads with what they're going to do. Now, Thor comes off of Ragnarok, which was definitely Thor's best movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
And he also kind of took some cues from Guardians of the Galaxy, if you think of the music and just like his jovial thing. So what I was wondering was it like a little, because maybe like Thor was probably contracted for the Avengers movies and the other movies, and maybe in some point, what I'm wondering is this, what they said, like, we got to do something to shake up this Guardians thing. It's like, throw Thor in there.
Yeah.
And which is awesome.
And it works.
And I don't say it's desperate or anything, but I don't think what I'm saying is I don't think it was part of James Gunn's plan. Now James Gunn is back. Now maybe Gamora was part of James Gunn's plan. I don't know, but it feels like everybody's saying James Gunn wants to wrap up his trilogy. They're using a script. Now, if I was James Gunn and you told me I had Thor, I don't think I'd be upset.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not at all.
And I'm sure Thor will get a 6-pack and everything.
To be honest, I'm not sure. I mean, it sounds feasible.
But I definitely would love a Guardians with Thor.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think that would be. I would rather see that than another Thor standalone movie.
And he's a little unbalanced for the team as far as his power, but the stuff they go up against could work.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting because Guardians has got to finish, and Guardians is going to finish. So
Yeah.
I guess Thor's on that ship, so if he's going to be like play a background role, kind of like Hulk did in Ragnarok, or he's going to actually be a Guardian, it's going to be interesting to see. Let's talk about the big moment, the snap, the second snap. Two big snaps in this movie.
Oh, snap.
So, no, I'm sorry. Let's go back. Heroes return, first of all.
Oh, that's...
Okay? Once again, you forget about them.
Yeah.
I watched that scene again, and Cap's just like strapping up. He's having his Cap moment, and all of a sudden, Falcon in his ear. And I think the way the movie was delivered, I think things caught you off guard, because even when Black Panther came out, it still kind of wasn't getting that was Doctor Strange's circle and everything. Then, of course, when more of them start appearing,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you throw Pepper in an Iron Man suit.
Oh, that was crazy.
I think that was cool. That didn't seem forced or anything.
No.
I liked it. And the other reason, Pepper had to be there.
Yeah, definitely.
Pepper
Especially
had to
for
be
that
there.
final moment.
Yeah, all the heroes come back. Spider-Man, everybody goes nuts when Spider-Man stands up and freaking poses for the camera.
Yeah.
Like, I'm back. Because that was like the biggest, I don't want to say it was the biggest, but it was like.
That was one of the hardest hitting moments in Infinity War.
Yeah, and it was like the cap of everything. He was like, I think he was the last one to go.
It was like not even just hard for the audience. Like you could tell it affects like Tony Stark in character as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it really hits him.
And they have that hug and everything.
Oh, that was great.
And they go back into the action. And then all of a sudden, everybody else starts coming out of the work. I guess you get the rest of the Asgardians. You get Black Panthers. But the first thing you see is, first of all, I think Falcon soars. It's like a beautiful shot, because Falcon soars sideways and you start seeing the other portals
Just
opening.
open it, yeah.
And then when you see Doctor Strange, and all of a sudden you realize the other ones are coming back and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then Avengers assemble, grabs the hammer again. Big old fight. Captain Marvel, because we're all still kind of like iffy about Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Her role was just
Like I said,
too small.
That's why I said I really think that when the movie comes out on DVD or whatever, that there's going to be two versions of it, or two endings.
Even her own movie. Who saw Captain Marvel?
I watched it right before I went to go see Endgame.
Oh, wow.
Actually, 'cause I hadn't seen it yet.
So you saw 4 hours of movies in a row?
Basically.
One sitting? Wow.
I didn't like go to the theater. I found a rip online.
Oh, okay. But here's what she's like, so powerful. She's so powerful. She's never had any like challenge. So she just comes in, zipping and destroying stuff. So if she was there at any other point in the movie, it could have been
Too easy.
It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Everything would have been too easy. I don't know.
I think, like I said, I think they have another version with more of her involvement. I think it came down to the decision of, okay, let's see how the public reacts after Captain Marvel has been released. If they take to her really well, we'll go with the version that has more of her in there. If it's not so well received, as far as like public opinion, because yeah, like you said, box office wise, everybody's going to see it, but I haven't heard like a lot positively about it.
All right, like Doctor Strange is like, I saw it, and Doctor Strange ain't the kind of movie I need to see 10 times. But I saw Doctor Strange, like, wow, this is awesome. Like, what they're explaining to me is awesome.
Yeah.
This is all cool. And Captain Marvel's just like this outer space adventure, and then all of a sudden at the end, it's like all the stuff you saw in the trailer, her getting superpowers and just easily tearing into everything. And maybe the trick to Captain Marvel is, I think she's got to kind of stay away from everything, and I think she's got to be having her intergalactic space adventures, kind of like Thor. I don't think, as far as doing stuff on Earth, I don't think she works. I think that's why she came back, had her small, I don't want to say her small role, but
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
She did her part, got slapped up.
As far as like the heroes and like their levels of power, she's just like on a completely different level that you can't necessarily have her just there with the others, because
I did like one of the things about her being powerful. Like, I did like her line with Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man's crawling backwards. She goes, "Oh, hi, Spider-Man. You have something for me?" Yeah. Like, I don't know. You know what the trick is? I think her second movie needs to really just knock it out of the park.
Yeah, definitely.
Her second movie needs to be like, somebody needs to come in there bold, kind of like the guy did with Thor Ragnarok. Now, here's the big one, is Iron Man snap. At the end of Infinity War, Doctor Strange saves Iron Man. He says he wasn't going to do it. He goes, between you and a stone stays. So the original theory, not just my theory, like the whole world's theory, was like, okay, Iron Man's got to play a part, whatever goes down. But I just assumed it was the time machine.
No, I just want to say, I called it and I told you that it would be Tony Stark.
You said
I told you that.
You said he would snap?
I told you it would be Tony Stark to go out because he is the one that started it all. And he needed him even through all of the movies, he has the biggest character arc as far as growing as a character.
Yeah, and his
making
arc
the ultimate
came
sacrifice.
circle.
Exactly. I told you it would be him because for that reason.
But it was the circle of everything. It was like he started messing up with Ultron and everything because when he saw the wormhole in outer space and he gets then the Ultron, then all of a sudden because he messes up with Ultron, that leads to Civil War and him getting reserved and everything and saying, okay, I need to chill. And then even that, he's a little protective of Spider-Man and now it comes back full circle and like the scene with his house. And even Pepper says, I didn't want to have Pepper being like, don't do this. Don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously half the universe compared to even, Pepper's going to say, yeah, if you can save half the universe, go do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so Iron Man comes in, he gives Cap the shield back, let it go and everything. And there's this, and he gets the glove. Oh, Doctor Strange gives him the one. He goes, this is it. He goes,
the one.
The one. It's like, it's now.
He goes, are we going to win this? If I tell you, it won't happen.
And he goes out with I Am Iron Man, the way Iron Man 1 ended.
Yeah.
Also, I called something. Remember we were waiting for the after credit scene?
Yeah.
And we sat there because we're all waiting for we're all waiting for Loki to go, that's all, folks, or something. We wanted to see Loki or what's it going to be?
Yeah.
I didn't realize something. There was a hammering. There was like tink.
Yeah.
Tink.
Yeah, I heard that.
That was Tony Stark. It was the audio of him building the first Iron Man costume. So it did kind of bring everything full circle because this is the end of the whole Avengers saga and definitely Tony's saga. It's like end where it began.
It's definitely the end of this big, long 10-year plus arc that they've started.
Yeah. And I would honestly say even the Avengers movies, I would say would probably lean heavier on being still Iron Man movies.
Yeah. I mean, it's the arc of those characters. Oh, speaking of which, I called it and I got it on tape. The first show, I said Avengers, spoilers and leaks. Now, to clarify, I didn't even want to say like on the internet I called it because I'm just being overcautious of spoiling it for somebody. Because I don't want to be somebody like, oh, you did a spoiler, screw this show or whatever.
Yeah.
But what I did know, there was before the big leaks. I still don't know what the big leaks were that went online because I went dark.
I was told it was that Iron Man died. It was like a GIF or something.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well.
What I did know was there was the picture of a set shot that they had Ant-Man standing next to Captain America in his original costume.
Okay.
So the time travel theories start flying around. And also the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And people are starting putting it together really quick.
Yeah.
People that know the suits, the same suit. The suits that they're wearing is the suit that Hank Pym wore when he went to go get his wife. I didn't know that, but people pointed it out. And then I realized it and everything. So all I knew was there was going to be time travel involved. But I said, if Cap's not going to do this anymore, I think he's going to end up getting his dance. I said he's going to go somehow. Something's going to happen because I just pictured them all falling through space and like somebody grabbing Cap's hand and go, Cap, what are you doing? He goes, I'm fine. Let go or something. I didn't know how it was going to go down, but I was like, he's going to go get his dance.
Yeah.
And he did. He got his freaking dance. And that circles his storyline because Captain America's always been out of time.
Yeah.
He dealt with the Avengers and he dealt with the ramifications, Civil War, play by the rules and everything. He's saved the universe. It's like time to rest for you, Cap.
Yeah, definitely.
And he deserved it. And it was a happy ending for him because you see the wedding ring.
Yeah.
It's like, you want to tell me about her?
Nah.
Like, no, I'm not going to tell you. And he's just chilling and happy. But I thought that was a perfect ending for him. So now you have Captain America out. You have Iron Man out.
Yeah.
Not sure about Hulk and everything. So the ending of the phase and kind of moving forward from this movie is supposed to be Spider-Man. In the beginning, I didn't understand it until I actually saw this movie. Because what I think it is, so all the phases, like the phase 1 is like the first movies, ends with Avengers, getting everybody together. The second phase is the sequels, getting some more people in there. Third phase, you start bringing in Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and everything. And it works because as you layer people out, you're layering people in.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a few roles step out, you got new ones that are already there ready to fill their shoes.
Because Doctor Strange is just getting started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one thing with Doctor Strange is, like, as badass as he's been through this whole Infinity thing, like, I can't wait for the next Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have said that before Infinity War. Like, he really shined through this whole thing.
I have to say, Doctor Strange is my favorite Marvel character, so I was super excited when they were putting those movies out.
See, when I was reading the comics, it was more like a B-list character to me. Like, you know, I just was like I would read Doctor Strange if you know, like I was a big Ghost Rider guy, and there was sometimes like he'd get involved with Ghost Rider or some other like, you know, the Infinity War sequel, Infinity War. In the comics, Infinity War is a sequel to Infinity Gauntlet. But like he always had that role basically in these movies. But just to see him like, and once again, you go on this big scope and then you have to come down a little bit. But we've done it before. We've done it with the Avengers movies and they go back to their solo movies. So Spider-Man, what I think Spider-Man is going to be is, it's kind of nice. First of all, it's like a nice palate cleanser. It's like your little after dinner mint. It's like, all right, let's calm down for a second. But the reason why I think this is going to be the end is because no matter what, you saved the universe and everything, there was a 5-year jump. And you don't remember that until you see Spider-Man hug Ned.
Yeah.
So there's going to be the ramifications of that jump. Nick Fury is going to be in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Which is good because Nick Fury could kind of explain some things.
Yeah, definitely.
This,
he'll
you know,
play that exposition.
The government, the superhero, this and that, but still kind of keep the story small scale. Luckily, we got Mysterio that everybody's excited about.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
You won't be too focused. I'm saying it's going to be a Spider-Man movie, but I think it's going to tie up some stuff.
Yeah.
I think it'll start off tying up and then end opening for the next phase.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to just set it's kind of tell us where are we.
Yeah. I think like the next phase is going to be like the next Spider-Man, going to be Doctor Strange 2, right? That one's supposed to be coming out soon.
Yeah.
And Black Panther, those three.
Black Panther 2, and then Guardians 3, I think, is supposed to be part of this next phase as well.
Kevin Feige said there's 20 movies planned.
Yeah.
So they just did 20 movies. They got 20 planned.
I know they're supposed to release the full layout once Far From Home comes out.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe they're
once
going to.
Far From Home comes
that
out,
makes sense.
We'll get the full movie plan out.
I did hear I read something interesting. I want to give credit where credit's due. I read an article in Screen Rant. They're talking about Namor. Because she mentions Black Panther's bodyguard. Okay, there's too many people to remember all of
Yeah.
But she mentioned something about it's a passing thing. She mentioned something about earthquakes underwater.
Yeah.
And somewhere else in some movie where they're monitoring things around the world, somebody else mentions like show a little circle.
There's a little circle in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. People speculate that has to do with like Atlantis and Namor.
Yeah, and now the thing is this. I read this too, that Namor has the same kind of deal as the Hulk. And I actually never knew what the Hulk's deal was till I read up on it. So the Hulk could be in the Avengers, but the Hulk can't have a solo movie without going through Universal. It's a weird deal. It's even weirder than the Sony deal. It's just, it's not like Universal just makes Hulk movies, but Namor's got the same deal. I assume Namor was owned by Fox. And I always group him with Fantastic Four. I didn't realize that, so they have Namor. So they're talking about he might be a possible villain for Black Panther or something, which could be interesting or something. Because even Black Panther, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Everybody, where do you go from here? You got to...
Now, I had saw something with that same earthquake reference. I had saw something that they were saying it was actually going to be, what's his name, Adam Warlock.
Adam Warlock's supposed to be part of Guardians 3. Which I think that might have to do with why they kind of shifted Thor onto the team. They might think that like it'll be helpful to have that extra manpower because Warlock is extremely powerful in the comics. I don't know if you guys know like too much about it, but in the Infinity Gauntlet comics, he's the one that gets the gauntlet from Thanos and has the power to use it
and not get messed up.
Yeah, not get.
If they do I don't think they're going to touch the Infinity stuff again. I don't know. I think
I don't think they're going to do that, but like. They set up after Guardians 2 for Adam Warlock to come in.
Mm-hmm. He's also then you have those bigger cosmic characters. Even if he plays into Captain Marvel or something, maybe he could give her a little bit of a challenge. Things like that. So Black Panther, which I saw Black Panther again, and I'm just psyched about it. Like I saw Black Panther 3 days ago, and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for this guy some more. Black Panther came out strong from Civil War, came out swinging in his own movie.
Yeah.
And then, like, once again, he always has that same thing. He's always Black Panther wherever he is. He's like, yep, I got this. Mbambe. Just like, you know, he's got his kingdom. He's doing everything. And all these guys are superheroes you could buy when the whole universe is at stake. Yeah, if Doctor Strange says, we got to do this now, they're all going to go. Like, this is it. You know, you guys know what happened. Everybody up to speed on what just happened.
Yeah. I like that they did add in that little, that quick scene of Spider-Man just being like, I don't know what happened. I remember fading away and then next thing you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good for two reasons. The moment and the explaining.
Exactly.
Yeah. What was going on through everybody's head.
I don't know. I woke up and Dr. Strange said, well, it's time to go.
He said it's been 5 years and we got to get back to Earth.
Yeah. I did like that they threw that in there.
So the other thing they kind of led into was, Falcon getting the shield, which was cool. And in the comics, Bucky or the Falcon have both been Captain America.
Yeah.
But with Bucky, first I said, well, Bucky's a little bit of a risk because he's a little shaky, but it goes more than I think about it. Even though Cap has that relationship with Bucky, and it's his like last piece of being Steve Rogers back in the 40s. And when you really think about Falcon, I've always wanted to say this every show, and I keep forgetting. In the comics, you would think Falcon's like just one of those lame third stringer characters.
Yeah.
But when the role he's played in these movies, he's always been Cap's right-hand man.
Always.
Whatever side he's on, he's like, yeah, whatever. What are we going to do? I'm with you. I got you. You. We're here. And then, so it was cool that he got the shield. Even though we've never had like that, I don't want to say he hasn't had character development. He has. It's always been he hasn't had a big, crazy arc.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because you know what arc he's got coming up is the responsibilities of taking that shield. Yeah. Steve believed in you. Now that I'm thinking about the movie, it's going to be freaking awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
But maybe we need to chill on that, because what I would like to see is, and maybe this is the end of another phase, a new Avengers.
Yeah.
But not right away.
No.
Have everything else go on, but you have War Machine. We love War Machine too.
Yeah.
And War Machine stepped up in this movie. Just his presence as being he is a character. He's not just
no, he's not
the other Iron
all.
Man. He was great. So you have new Captain America. You got an Iron Man. I still don't want to say Captain Marvel because she's just too powerful for that team. But throw Spider-Man in there. Anything. Who knows what else they got coming? We could have another Avengers or an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have to be a trilogy, but just like one movie with a little group.
Yeah. I think we'll probably get in like 4 years.
And then the other things coming down the road is still, and now that I know they got 20 movies planned out, it is going to be a challenge. They have the X-Men.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was one thing I was going to say. Now that they have like the rights to X-Men, they could possibly put Wolverine on the Avengers, considering
they could.
He was a big part of them.
Yeah. You know what? They could, especially if they wait towards the end and work them in there, and that would spice some things up.
Well, and also,
definitely.
like Hugh Jackman's done being Wolverine, so it actually gives them a perfect opportunity to bring somebody else in, somebody new, into the MCU, so that way, there's not the confusion of having like, oh, which one's the correct one.
Even Kevin Feige said, he goes, we're going to take our time with this X-Men thing, which I'm glad. I don't want to rush it because they're making the money. They don't need to ruin X-Men. So I would want to see it. The challenge is, okay, like Fantastic Four could happen tomorrow. They go out in outer space and become the Fantastic Four. The problem with mutants is, the whole idea is mutants have been around forever.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
nobody noticed them.
We never heard anything about
They got
mutants.
to integrate that in.
Something interesting is you can make them the result of something.
Yeah. What if we get introduced in Dark Phoenix? Just an idea.
Well, I always had this vision when Dark Phoenix was going on and Infinity War was going to go on. You were going to have that God Moses moment where you see like Phoenix and Thanos' fingers touch and both universes unravel, and all of a sudden Wolverine like goes, that was close, stands up next to Cap or something like that.
And then Deadpool's just there.
Yeah, Deadpool are just going to slap over there and not even care. 'Cause Deadpool isn't held to any continuity or anything.
Exactly.
I hope we keep Deadpool's Colossus. I don't know.
Yeah, I like that Colossus.
I'd like to see Deadpool start like kind of making more appearances in the MCU movies.
I think what they would do with Deadpool is have the guys appear in his movie.
Yeah.
I think that would be kind of better if you're going to get into corny Deadpool's world or the fourth wall. If he does appear in the other movies, he might not do it as much, or he might do a quick little look at the camera.
Yeah.
One thing I have heard people say is they want Deadpool to start making the cameos in the other movies that Stan Lee was making before. Like, he just shows up once per movie, just like kind of a one-off, just like, oh, he's there.
Just show him reading a newspaper or something.
That'd be good.
Heroes in New York City?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah, just have him have him be a postman or something.
He's just in the Deadpool outfit. They're interviewing him.
I don't know. I just saw a bunch of...
All of a sudden, this big green guy just crashed in behind him.
Yeah. What do you guys think if they showed some post-snap PTSD?
There's going to be something.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
I'm sorry. That's what I was thinking of. The 5-year gap. Here's the cool thing. Okay. So now you have 5 years where the world had less infrastructure, less government. The Avengers are kind of in shambles. All the heroes and villains or whatever. It's kind of like a good grooming ground for something else to happen. In the screen, I want to make sure I quote them, like in the Screen Rant article, they said something they saw whales jumping into Hudson River. Because the waters are cleaner.
Yeah.
And maybe all of a sudden the Moor sees like the people coming back as a threat, and that's what gets him started. But other villains, Ultron could have rewired himself in all this time.
Yeah.
Maybe something event happened in those 5 years that makes mutants. It's still a little off. I don't know.
I just want to see the characters that actually got snapped out come back and have something wrong with them. Or some kind of, you know what I mean? I would like to see that. Like something happened to them while they were snapped away and they're coming back and it's still something brought back with them.
They come back and they have trouble adjusting to the fact that like, oh, everyone is 5 years older than me now. Like,
yeah. I would like to see something like of that kind of weight.
Yeah, because Peter's not going to be in Ned's class anymore. I just thought about that.
Well, no, because they show them running up and Ned looks exactly the same age.
Yeah, they look same age.
It looks like they just both got snapped.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I think Aunt May must have got snapped too. I think for storytelling, because I don't want to see. I think the story is going to be a little less grounded if they start out like, oh, you've been gone for 5 years. You know what I mean? I think I don't know, but I feel like Aunt May probably was snapped too.
Yeah, probably.
It's like Khiim and I were talking the other day. Like Homecoming or not Homecoming, Far From Home is supposed to take place like right after Endgame, so it's like. Everyone's been snapped. 5 years have passed.
Oh, it's like a minute after? It's like right after?
Yeah, it's supposed to be right after.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just like everyone comes back and the school's just like, all right, you guys are going on a field trip.
We're going on a field trip.
Go to Europe.
All right, you guys need to get these permission slips formed. I need $50 from everybody.
All right, now that your parents are back, let's get those permission slips.
I know you're all glad you're alive again, but I need everybody to be quiet and pay attention. So anyway, I think we can all agree this was a freaking awesome masterpiece, especially for Cliff to sit through a 3-hour movie twice. I was like, man, that's hard.
That's 6 hours of movie right there.
I mean, at least you go to the bathroom this time. Oh, you still didn't? I might have missed something, but awesome movie, awesome finale for this team. This is what the first 10 years of movies have been building towards very carefully and everything. Even like the jiggle of the hammer and Ultron and everything comes into play later, everything. Yeah. But I think also, it was good that they did it because eventually you need to phase into something else. I think we would have got tired of it eventually if they didn't kind of shift the gears and everything. Yeah. And we'll see. We'll see what they got down the road. But good stuff. Like I said, it's fun speculating on the future. And we're going to see more when we see Spider-Man. But definitely a great movie. Guys, I want to thank you so much. Khiim, Matt, Cliff, both you guys, welcome to the show. But great job. And thanks a lot. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks.
See you guys.
Sign off.
Take it easy.